The ultimate prize in 9 balls within touching distance. Taiwan's Pei-Wei Chang against Canada's Alex Pagulayan. A battle between the young guns of pool that really has caught the imagination. 128 players, 9 days of competition, and now a showdown between 2 of the rising stars of pool. Welcome to the final of the Taiwan World Pool Championship 2004. Alex Pagulayan from Canada and Pei-Wei Chang, the local favourites, head-to-head. First, let's get a reminder of the quarter-final and semi-final action. Well, the first quarter saw Pei-Wei Chang against Johnny Archer. It was tense and tight all the way. Archer showing his championship quality. The match eventually going hill-hill. Pei-Wei Chang, who kept his cool, progressed to the semi-final. Alex Pagulayan had the toughest test of them all. A showdown with Fong Pang Chow. Pagulayan steamed into a 9-3 lead. Shots like that, and this, made him an 11-10 victor. Chang beat Marcus Shamat to progress to the final. And Pagulayan, an 11-10 winner over Po Cheng Kuo. Well, we can join the action. Our commentators, Steve Davis, Jerry Forsyth.
Taking charge of quieting the crowd.
This final was a total sellout before the event began.
Yes, we've actually got people sitting in other parts of the arena where they cannot see this table, and they've got large television screens set up for them to view. There's the break. The wing ball down. The 1 ball teases the side pocket, but fails to fall, and that's a long opening shot.
Would have been very nice for Pagulayan had that 1 ball have dropped into the centre instead of hitting the point. He would have had a lineup on the 2.
That 1 ball's been playing with the knuckle in that side pocket all week long, and it's given players quite a headache because you can't figure for that. You can't play position on that.
Safety, but where? Really can't see any type of pot or combination on.
This is not at all what Alex wanted. I mean, he really needs to stay at the table for a while, let his stroke out.
Playing thin to the... Oh, no. Well, or yes. I don't know. Well, no. 1 minute. Yes, no, and... Now that's an unusual shot for a player to try and play a risky combination. He played, you know, the 1 onto the 9 to try and make it. He then tried to screw back with an element of safety, but well, it's never ever safe on a pool table. Even if you get distance between the balls, you've got to hide the balls, and you couldn't guarantee where the cue ball and white ball were, and 1 ball were going. So surely that goes down as a basic error.
I can only assume that he figured that if he's going to take a big risk, he better do it early in the match. But I don't know if you want to take a risk of that size against this fella.
Well, this is missable, but he hasn't missed the cuts, and he's looking very good on them. Holding his nerve very well here. Pagulayan is the one showing the emotion.
I think Pagulayan is ruining that last decision.
Well, he's suffering what every favourite suffers. The level of expectation on him to win the World Championship is much, much higher than it is on Chang, and that weighs heavy on your shoulders.
There's the graphic so that you can more easily see where the balls are placed. Remember, it's 9-ball. We're playing in rotation. You always have to strike the lowest numbered ball on the table first. Then anything goes is legal.
He'll be pretty happy with that position. Now means he can draw the cue ball up the right-hand side of the table, contacting the cushion just before the middle or the centre pocket. Bit of left-hand spin, widen the angle a fraction, and he's perfectly on the 4. He may be able to screw direct, but I think that's the shot we see him play.
Well, he needs to clear the 6-ball. He was urging it on. I'm not sure he got there.
Well, I think he did, but
oh, he did.
It was a bit close for comfort. Sometimes when he plays those screw shots, he just lets his cue go up in the air and doesn't get through the ball. The cue just sort of starts to waver in the air, and if you're really going to play good screw shots, and I do apologise for mentioning the word snooker again, but if you look at the snooker world of cueists, the best screwback player there's ever been in the game, Jimmy White, and if you ever watch his cue when he plays a screwback, it goes straight through the ball and it stays on the line of the shot all the way through, and he really does get maximum backspin with the least amount of power by doing that. The moment you start to hit the ball and your cue goes off the line, the forces involved are nowhere near as strong.
That's how they teach it. Stay on the line of the shot, follow through, and accelerate through the plane of the cue ball. And Chang got himself into a bit of a problem here. The 5-ball shot itself is not a problem in the corner pocket, but he's got to send the cue ball around the world 3 rails to get back onto the 6-ball.
He may just have enough room to play the...
Oh my! Are the pool gods sitting on this man's shoulder?
Well, I think he was playing inside the middle centre pocket. I think he was playing with left-hand spin to try and hold it short of the middle pocket and never let it get down the other end. And what a result that was!
What a bit of good fortune.
He played that cue ball off of 3 cushions.
Well, I said he was going to play 3 cushions, just not those 3.
The game twisting and turning. Nobody in a position yet to really dominate and run a number of racks. It's still a bit nervy, but this particular match will have a lot longer storyline.
Let me give you a little stat here, Steve. Alex Pagulayan thus far has made 5 errors in this match, and Chang has 5 games on his side of the board. Chang has 2 errors. Pagulayan has 2 games. Errors do make a difference.
That wasn't an error. Ooh. Has that 4 ball been covered up somewhat by the 9? He's obviously on the 2 next, but then the 4 is after that, and I do think he's going to have a problem. Or can he cut it in from there? doesn't look like he can. I mean, if he can't pot it from sort of dead straight on, he wouldn't be able to cut it in from where the blue 2 is. That would be impossible. Even though at 9-ball pool, if you do have a simultaneous contact, say he was to hit the 9 and the 4 at exactly the same time, that would be considered a legal shot, which is a slight difference from the game. I won't call it the game played on the larger table that I sometimes play, Jerry. There you go.
Well, in his favor, though, Steve, if he chooses to play a bank shot, he's got the 9-ball to stop the cue ball right there, and he'd be set up for the next ball, the 5-ball.
Yeah, of course, the bank shot. I forgot about that one. It's relatively easy at this level to bank the ball. You must let the ball release off the cushion properly. You don't want to bang it in too hard because it can sometimes straighten up. But can he cut it in?
Looks like he's playing for the cut. Michaela better watch this one.
There may just be enough room there. On the overhead shot we saw before, it just didn't look possible, but this looks like there may be enough of a gap just to wheedle that cue ball in and certainly simultaneously strike the balls. No, playing the bank shot with backspin.
The banks are open. And with that disappearing 4-ball, the rest of this table gets very easy. He's got all the shots in his bag.
Well, the shots he hasn't got in his bag that we saw against Shamat early on, the tactical part of the game, as I mentioned earlier, he didn't seem to be in control of. I'm not saying that that's always the case. It may have just been he had a bad start to that match. I think he'd be found out on any extraordinary shot making, any quality striking of the ball, length of table with lots of topspin. That may be the sort of the domain of perhaps a Strickland or a Souquet or somebody like that. But certainly in this part of the game, he makes very few errors.
Yeah, and the tables have opened up in a manner that fit his game. He hasn't been given the situations that might test his style.
But the story so far is that Pagulayan's having a bad match so far. He got to the final last year. He was beaten quite convincingly by Thorsten Hohmann in the end, although nobody knew that Hohmann was going to win that particular final. And he's under pressure here.
Wow.
He's making balls a 9 pretty
9
close. Not too sure it's going to matter. Is the 4 going to help Pagulayan? No.
I just don't see any trouble forming up here.
Well, he's got a monster break going at the moment. He's starting to make balls. There's nothing like being in front for the quality of your strike to be increased by even 5%. That can make such a difference when you're breaking the balls. When you start to feel relaxed and in form, just let that cue go through the ball just a fraction more and you start to get great results from the break. Well, there's just no problems here. 7-2.
No, these balls are opening up very, very nicely now. We've seen a pattern earlier in the week where the table would set up nicely earlier in the match, and then as we got further into the match, you'd see some pretty ugly layouts that where safety play had to come into play quite a bit.
Well, on the first couple of days, obviously the TV table with a brand new shiny cloth, so to speak, is breaking quite easily. But this cloth is wearing in somewhat, and you can see the lines, the diagonal lines from the break-off area to that 1-ball spot. What's the correct term for that? Jerry's called something, isn't there? The head spot. No, the string.
Oh, you're talking about the head string from where you break?
No,
yes.
the spot where the 1-ball goes.
Oh, the foot spot.
Yeah, that's the one. It's the foot spot. It always confuses me.
Cue ball actually dances down the table on the break shot. It's in the air about half the time. Skips its way to the rack.
Terminology is a bit tough for me. The foot spot's where the pink spot is. which will be our top of the table. It's the foot of your table, and the head string is the balk line, which is the bottom of our table. Regardless of whatever it is, it's a big lead for Chang. Certainly fancied Pagulayan was going to be the victor here, but I've made a lot of predictions this week. They've all gone wrong. It's very hard to predict the outcome of these matches. Balls going down, but balls in problem areas as well.
Yeah, he made 2 balls on the break. The 3 and the 7 have both disappeared, but the 1 ball, you can watch it as it sets up here. It's across the table from the cue ball.
Well, even though that 5's gone into what looks like an awkward area, this may not be anywhere near as difficult a rack as it first looks. As long as he makes the 1 ball.
Yeah, he should fall on the 2 ball fairly naturally, so he can concentrate just on making the 1.
Well, he makes the 1 ball, comes across the same side of the table, avoids colliding with the 3 balls when he pots the 2 ball, gets out into open play, leaves himself a straight 4 ball, and then plays through the gap on the 5. Should be able to then run the rack. Mind you, we're getting slightly ahead of ourselves. He's got to make this 1 ball first.
Well, he certainly does that. He plays it a little more, or a little differently from what we had imagined.
Well, he played it better as well. He played it a lot firmer, brought the cue ball back twice across the table to make the positional shot from the 2 to 4 an even easier option. And now, if he pots this 4 ball and leaves himself the right angle on the 5, he's going to have a natural path across for the 6 ball. This will open out very nicely. I know, once again, we're looking many balls ahead. There is a possibility that in potting the 5 ball that he could end up not ideally on the 6. But the way this guy's cueing at the moment, so the way he's controlling the ball.
And he's left himself virtually straight in, so he can just let the cue ball drift a little bit forward, and he'll be right in position. He may be able to just stop this ball.
Yeah, I think he would like to be sort of there. That's where he wants to be.
Right. Yeah, if he goes forward, getting position on the 6 ball.
Doesn't want to be there, that's for certain.
Very easy. No, yeah, that's the worried face of Alex Pagulayan.
There's not much going on there other than a bit of disillusionment and possibly the nightmares of last year starting to loom large in Pagulayan's mind. To come so close to winning the World Championship once is a heartbreaker. Yes. 2 years on the trot, that's tough to take.
Yeah, Alex has been here before, but that would be a huge advantage if he were in the lead, because he'd have all the confidence and the experience. But where he is now, it's terrible. And Chang finally has not performed up to par. He's come up well short.
Once again, on the power shots, anything that requires a good stroke on the cue ball, he sometimes doesn't get that much action on that cue ball, and he is 6 inches out of position. Another 6 inches further up the table, this 6 ball would be a certainty. Now he's looking at options of whether to play the very thin cut, or he did momentarily there look at the bank shot.
Well, the bank shot gives him positional advantages that the cut does not, but it's a tougher shot.
Pagulayan needs to pray this doesn't go in.
Well, if he cuts this with left English, he's really doing something. Nope. The bank works. This fellow should play 1 pocket. Great bank shot. Just splits the jaws of the pocket. No doubt about it. And the rest of the table sets up very easily for him. Wow, Chang just marching through the racks. Certainly not straight in on the 9 ball, but he's been up to every cut he's had to face so far.
I don't think he's missed the ball, has he? I don't think that's how Pagulayan's won the games. He hasn't missed a straightforward shot from what I can remember. Has looked very much in control. He certainly hasn't looked tentative at all.
Great pool fans in Taiwan throughout the Far East. Oh, finally,
Ball in hand.
he displays an error. That cue ball of its own accord deposited in the side pocket. Alex Pagulayan gets an opportunity, and one he sorely needs.
Yeah, but just have a look at this 9 and 5 ball. Look, just look at the 9 and 5 there.
Oh, that's...
You know, when it's not your day, I mean, you get a chance, and there's a problem attached to your chance, just to sort of make it a little bit more difficult. He's got to, you would imagine, he wouldn't be able to risk shifting the 5 and 9 with either the 1 ball or the 2 ball. You would think, have to risk playing the 4 ball to risk removing these 2 balls, moving them apart, and that's fraught with danger. So
I think he's going to come down to the foot end of the table and replace the 5 with the cue ball and send the 5 up table, so that the cue ball is just married on that 9 ball. Then he'll be able to get to the table with ball in hand should Chang miss the 5.
Too risky to try and run the rack.
Well, you know our plan. Let's see what Alex has come up with.
Obviously, if he did have the ideal position on the 4 ball, perhaps if he could draw the cue ball across toward the middle of the table, leave himself a pot into the centre with the right angle. It would have to be the right angle, and he's about there. He could risk splitting these 2 balls apart.
Well, he hasn't been getting rolls this evening. That would be risking that he could get a roll.
So 4 into the centre. Whether he plays directly onto the 9 or off the cushion, that's his choice.
It's on its way. Mixed result. It's tough being that close to your work, although he's got an opportunity here.
Well, what I like about that shot was he didn't panic into over hitting the shot, and he gave himself every chance that should he have split them apart, he would have some type of shot on the 5. But as you say, this isn't completely certain that he can play a good positional shot on this. Well, it was.
Oh,
sorry.
that's fine. That's fine. I thought he was going to hit the 9.
I thought it was a bit thinner than that.
Much fuller.
Well,
can Alex get something going? This rack will go to him. It's only the 3rd one he has claimed. And we'll see what sort of breaking strategy he has devised. We've seen several players make a soft break work. Others having great success with the hard break.
Thank you. Rack 12. Alex Pagulayan to break, trailing by 8 racks to 3.
now, good break needed. Run an easy rack. Get some fluency in the game. We'll Where's the 1 and 4 going? Yeah, he's got a shot on the 1, but not for the 2. Oh, it's never easy sometimes, this game. Other days, the balls just go so nice. You think anybody could knock them in. Look at this shot. Pot the 1 and get on the 2.
And do all of that with an arm that hasn't had that much work. Now Alex does have a stroke, however. He can put some screw on the ball.
He's jacking up in the air fractionally, makes it a bit more difficult. He has got an angle that he can screw back down the table, but if he does just let go with this, he doesn't want to screw it off into the corner pocket. Ooh, great shot.
Well, that should make him feel a lot better, because the rest of this rack is in the open.
Well, that was the crucial shot in this rack. The rest of it, Alex will be hoping will fall into place quite nicely. Absolutely nothing to stop this man running a number of racks should he just get himself on the table and start to dominate proceedings. Without being unkind to Chang, Pagulayan is the class horse of the 2.
He was our favorite, but trails now by a wide margin. Chang just watching emotionlessly, waiting for his turn to come.
Not too happy with that, but shouldn't pose any real problems.
No, really all he has to do for the 6 ball is get out to center table.
What he's done is given himself, should he let the cue ball go, the opportunity after potting the 5 in just bumping into the 9 and leaving himself not on the 7. So it means he's got to try and straighten the shot up or play around the back of everything. Looks like that's what he's doing. A bit riskier.
Oh,
but it's okay.
Yeah, he's going to have to play this now into the side pocket, but that'll work out just fine. That was fraught with peril if he'd run into any of the balls there, especially if he had nudged that 7 ball up into the 6.
Nice shot from Pagulayan, starting to cue with that rhythm and the fluency that really we've seen in earlier rounds, and the type of cueing that is best really to start running many racks. Fluency, rhythm, confidence around the table.
Bob, so far it's been the Chang show all the way.
He is playing out of his skin, Jerry. Just amazing how consistent he is. But Alex coming back with 2 racks there, and I think we got the makings of a real classic final here, Jerry.
Well, perhaps, but Alex has some problems here. Watch the way this 1 ball sets up. It's going to be directly across the table from the 2 ball, so there's no easy cut shot. He's going to have to pull out the banks. And he really is flirting with that side pocket. That's been the bane of the players all week, that cue ball floating over toward the side pocket. And, you know, Alex would like to stay at the table, but the safety is a much easier option. He can hide behind the 3. Let's see how aggressive he feels.
Whoa.
Well, the aggression did not pay off.
When you take a bank like this, you want to miss it pro side. You want to hit the side cushion first, but I think he caught a bit of the jaw. Maybe if he had hit more of the side cushion, he would have been in a better shape because the 1 would have finished safe. But there you see it catch the jaw. He has a shot on the 1.
Chang not only has a shot on the 1, he's got a table he can run through. Alex just can't spend any time at the table so far tonight. You can't blame him for being aggressive. When you're behind in a match, you need to be playing an aggressive game, but when it doesn't pay off, the other man can reap such dividends.
Yes, and I know that Alex is a very good banker of the ball, and certainly he's faced much harder banks than that one, but that instance just missed it by a hair. And Pei-Wei Chang looking now to continue the extremely high standard of plays exhibited in the first couple of racks.
Well, he can play a very, very simple game for the rest of this rack. Doesn't need to do anything extraordinary. This is basic stay in line stuff. Doesn't need to draw back much more than center table to make the 6-ball a simple shot.
And Jerry, we've seen Pei-Wei Chang play a couple of matches already in this TV table. He has not shown much nerves, and that hasn't changed certainly here.
No, the only time he gets excited is when he wins. He waits till after the match to let any emotions out. The ability to stay contained in this situation. His shots are going right in the heart of the pocket, and his break is working so well. 3 balls down, 6 balls left. As you can see, he'll be starting with a shot on the 3-ball.
Corner balls have been going down fast and furious for Chang Pei-Wei.
By and large, Bob, these racks have been really opening up extremely well for the man. His task is just not to make a mistake.
He's going to play this with follow. Does he have to put any left on this shot, any right on this shot rather, or just play a simple follow?
Yeah, just straight up follow would do it. He would prefer not to be straight in here, but the 6-ball's down near a pocket, so if he can get the cue ball out in the clear, which is an easy task, he should be able to continue.
Played that one well, giving him lots of angle off the 6 for the 7. Well, before the tournament began, I'm sure a lot of people who are following this event closely would have thought that a Taiwanese player would make it to the final, but who would have guessed it would have been this young man? And he's proving to everybody concerned that he does belong at this stage.
Yes, the 2 names you heard at the beginning of the week were Chow and Yang. Oh, their week ended early. And it's, whoa, their countryman holding the flag up high.
Boy, he hit that shot a lot fuller than he wanted to.
Yeah, he sure did. He teased a scratch there. Gave the crowd a jolt. But no matter. Once again, he's in line for the final ball. Game number 14.
This is eerily reminiscent of last season, where Alex, a prohibitive favorite coming into the final, up against an unknown Torsten Homan, and here an instant replay. Nobody was talking about Pei-Wei Chang before this event started. They are now. And for me, the storyline has been the break.
Well, it's a lethal weapon, isn't it, Jim? Apart from that scratch, he's just put himself in such good position time after time.
A couple shot selection, questionable shot selections from Alex Pagulayan, and it has completely been one-way traffic. The momentum firmly in the seat of this Taiwanese star, and he's looking at a possible 2-6 combination.
Well, Jim, the way his confidence must be and the size of that lead, it's all about the percentages, isn't it? Maybe this is as good a time as any to go for this.
The misses have been at a premium here this evening. And he has brought the fans to their feet on more than one occasion.
Yeah, terrific shot, got himself in position. The only problem now is the slightly awkward one of the 5 and the 8, whether it'll be a combination, whether it'll pass, or whether he'll have to take it in another pocket. Other than that, this one is plain sailing.
He's got a very short stroke, does Chang. Doesn't draw that cue back very far. And that means that fundamentally there's going to be no errors. Very compact.
It's almost, Jim, like he's been brought up practicing the game in a compact space, isn't it? He just doesn't draw back. It's like he's been in a little box room with a table.
Well, we've had a look at that 5. It definitely doesn't pass the 8 into the corner pocket. So position from the 3 to the 4 will tell a story on what Chang wants to do with that orange 5. Keeping it simple. Going to be playing the long 4. Get the cue ball off the cushion slightly to attack that 5-8 combination.
This is the shot. He'd had a good look at it a couple of shots earlier, so he knew exactly what he was playing for. It's deja vu. I'm sure it's at the back of his mind, as Jim said. Always missed it. Wow.
One of the few mistakes we've seen here from Chang. And Pagulayan has to make inroads into this deficit. This is the simplest of outs. This one basically gift wrapped. But Alex knows he's got to string some racks together to get back into this one.
break. trailing
Yesterday
by
was a
10
day of
racks to
comebacks.
5.
Today could be another one. 10-5 is a headache, but it is not a migraine. If Pagulayan can get himself on, and it looks like he has, then he can start making inroads and reducing that gap.
Great break off. One of the few where Alex has left himself sitting pretty. Got the 1, the 2 in the same area of the table. He's going to need a handful of these. I don't know what Alex's record is in terms of consecutive racks run, Nick, but I'd wager it's somewhere in the 8, 9, 10 area. Well, if he ever produced something of that nature, now would be the time.
Yes. And worth making the point, I suppose, that his longest streak at the moment is 2. And he's going to work steadily here.
Played a great match in the quarterfinals against Chow Fong Pang, and with all the emotional highs, he went right out and beat another Taipei star, Kuo, in the semifinals. And that brought him to today. And in fairness, Nick, it's been a nightmare start for Alex. He was down 4-1 before he could blink.
This has been a much needed confidence boosting rack for him though, Jim. He's been marching around that table with a lot of purpose. There's a bit of bounce in his step. He doesn't look like a fella that's mentally fretting at the situation. More a fella that's just determined, right, do something about it. Six in a race to 17, not a problem.
Well, I'd rather be 10-6 in front than 10-6
now that's a
behind.
problem.
And that cue ball was kicked into the corner. It's just not happening for Alex right now. Watch it. The 4 came right around the 2 cushions and just nailed that cue ball into the corner pocket like a dart through Alex's heart. And that was painful to watch.
It's a nightmare, Jim. It really is. I really felt, looking at him in that last rack, that with any kind of decent run, Alex could easily put 4 or 5 or 6 together. And then just as you think he's going to start building it up, he gets a kick like that.
It's not happy days when you know you need a glaring mistake from your opponent to bring you back to the table, but that's what Alex needs right now. He needs something with which to build some confidence and plant some seeds of doubt in the mind of this young player, because precious little has gone wrong to this stage. He just wants to make sure he's dead straight on this 3, Nick. And if he just drops it in, stops the cue ball there, he's going to have a nice angle to go right in behind that 5. And the 5 does pass to the top left corner, so he may elect to go right around it. Just slowly spin that cue ball off the 2 cushions to play the 5 top left. He's looking to the right top corner, but I'd be surprised if he did that. I think you're going to see him play with a little bit more speed and play the 5 top left.
solid positional shot from the man from Chinese Taipei. Excellent crowd in here. This one was sold out days ago. It's been a very hot ticket, and it's, as we can see, it's a split audience.
Well, Alex has won over a lot of fans here all week with his antics and his exuberance at the practice table, on the match table. He's a very easy young player to like. And this man is going to be making a few fans the way that he plays the game.
Alex's misfortune has turned into Pei-Wei's good fortune. Surely the tide is going to turn, he must be thinking. But it hasn't done yet.
And this man set out like a racehorse and is yet to be caught. Breaking off here in rack number 18.
Ooh. There's your luck. He nearly scratched on the same pocket he scratched on earlier. And I think he's even got himself a shot on the one out of it as well. He's done a deal with the pool gods, this fella.
That's the nature of the game. You just do your best, but 9-ball every now and then. It's just the way the balls run. And they do tend to favor the courageous player. Alex Pagulayan has got to know that chair intimately this evening.
Like a nice positional shot. Can't see a big dark cloud over this rack either, it has to be said.
Well, the next shot really not quite as straightforward as Pei-Wei Chang would have liked. Now, does he elect to leave long distance on that red 3, or does he want to draw to the left cushion and back out towards the middle of the table?
Yes, he's got to do a bit of coast-to-coasting here, isn't he? Because he's heading our way with this shot. Then he's got to go back up top for the 3, then back down for the 4.
Now watch this short action.
Oh, watch him miss.
Well, he's left it too.
Wow.
Chance for Alex. Certainly couldn't have expected this. The way that he has played. Misses, shock everyone in attendance. This is a big shot for Alex now, as it would have been for Chang. Position from the 3 to the 4 will hold the key to victory or failure. I'm going to say victory or success. There's a nice combination.
Alex will take that.
It's been that kind of day for Alex. And he can still offer a smile.
You just saw right there why this fella is so popular. It's impossible to dislike him. He's a bundle of energy. He plays the game with a smile on his face, whatever the circumstances. And neutrals would just love him to win here. But he's made it hard for himself again.
Very thin cut on the 4. Max Eberle, top American star from California, came across the Pacific, and he was relegated to the spectators' seats after the round robins. Never qualified to the knockout stages. That's how tough this competition is. Well, they're applauding a great shot on the 4, but life doesn't get any easier for Alex. He needed that cue ball away from that side cushion.
Yes, because he's going to make this shot on the 6 really nasty now. Can he get that cue ball to play? Boy, this has turned into a tough old rack for him. Good. Well, he's come up with a couple of really solid shots there when he needed to. That was more of relief, I think, than anything else.
Well, the Lion wants to roar, Nick. Well, finally, he's in a position now where the hard work really has been done. It seemed like it would never end.
Needed it badly, didn't he? Nice little break.
What a different break, Nick. The last time it was kicked into the corner pocket, and there's the soft cut break a la Corey Duel.
A break that Earl Strickland used to very good effect in an earlier round, and then when he tried it in his next match, it went hard on him, so he had to change it up again. But Alex has made the switch, and it's effective.
Well, one thing about it, breaking at that speed, no ball will be traveling fast enough. Now Alex has got a chance here if he can get over the left-hand side of the table. It looks like the 3-9 combination is set. Good positional shot here from the 1 to the 2. But I'm not sure he can get over behind it. Maybe draw around it. Or can he miss that 8? And the other option could be the 3-5 combination. This just depends on where Alex can get to. He may even, the way he was lining up, I was thinking he may even bank that and draw the cue ball back to get the 3-9. Having said that, he's only got half a pocket with the 7 over the side.
Well, he's playing it patient. And why not? There's every chance that he can run this one out.
Willed that one into the pocket. 5, 6 to 7 over the left side. Another look at the 3. Just caught the near bump, but at that speed, it was always going to drop. I was about to say earlier that in the quarterfinals and semifinals, this match would have been over. It was a race to 11. So Alex can at least take heart in the longer race here in the final.
Well, assuming he wins here, and the smile on his face, I think, has told his own story. Assuming he can just pop these 3, and he really should, Jim will have won 4 of the last 5, and subtly momentum is shifting.
Well, that's what Alex has to do. He's got to start enjoying himself out there. Get that smile on his face, get that back arm moving comfortably. And with that fluid action that we've come to expect. And he may be able to turn the tide here.
Gone back to a bit of mustard on the break. That was a surprise.
Yeah, I have to admit, he soft broke from the left side of the table as we looked twice, successfully got out, and he's over on the right breaking hard. Well, Alex obviously just felt that he was going to try and mix it up a little bit, and who would argue with this result? Yeah, it was 10-4 at one stage, Nick. At least it wasn't 10-4 over and out for Alex.
Chang has had an awful long time now to sit in that chair and rue his miss on the 2. But if there's one thing we know about our old buddy Momentum, he is a fickle friend. He'll join you and be your best buddy for a while, but then at the slightest provocation, he'll turn around and kick you in the teeth. So while he's your buddy, you've got to make the most of it.
That expression has rarely changed in the last 4 racks. All he can do is wait.
Well, you can't challenge the mental toughness of 2 guys that make it through to the final. Never been any question about him. We know all about him. But Chang answered any questions anyone might have in that department with that amazing 11-10 win over Johnny Archer. Alex is fairly rattled through this one as well.
There's one thing about it. When he gets flowing, he can knock him in as quickly as anybody. Well, apart from your Luke Salvases and Tony Drago, but he wastes little time at the table, Alex. Watch for the wing ball in the bottom left.
There it goes, as easy as you like.
This is starting to look pretty juicy for Alex Pagulayan. Things have definitely turned.
He will see that blue that he lost in rack 18 in his sleep tonight if he loses this one. And since then, Pagulayan hasn't put a foot wrong, has he? His positional sense has been terrific. His confidence has been there. All his potting has been very assured. He's had no streaky lucky breaks or anything. He's really turning in a masterclass at the moment.
Well, in fairness, Nick, when you're down 10-4, you know you can't afford any more mistakes. And I don't know about that. I think Alex wanted to come a little higher on this 4. The 5's the bottom end of the table. Let's look at it. Straight wouldn't be bad. He'd be able to draw back into the same area the cue ball is now. Two balls away from being all knotted up. And listen for the applause when this 9 drops. And he switched with the break again. But look at this. And look at the 5-9 at the bottom. We were starting to wonder whether or not Alex Pagulayan was going to become Poole's version of Jimmy White.
Well, Bob, when you and I took over commentary duties, we were talking about the story of the match had been the Chang break. Since then, the Pagulayan break, or breaks should I say, because he's got 2 of them going at the moment, have been absolutely sensational.
Looks like Alex may have to use the rest on this. He's played a lot of snooker back in Canada, Nick, so this shouldn't be a problem. But it's all about position. When a ball's near a pocket like that, it's not always easy. This will be a key shot. Well, he's got an open shot at the 2. He's going to have to draw the cue ball off 2 cushions, get it back out into the middle of the table.
Tide turns on the 2 again. That's Chang's undoing when it was 11-6. And now with Pagulayan in total control, he's blown a 2.
He caught him, but he couldn't head him. And everything was there. Not quite as good a position from the 1 to the 2 as Alex would have liked. And I've got a feeling that Chang's going to come in here now and repay the favor. Well, looks like he's going to go the overland route. I thought he might have left angle to play the 5-9. The way it sits now, he's just going to bump this in, stay above the 9, leave himself angle on the 5 to get back up table for the 6.
Well, we are at the point of the match, Jim, where the players will just have to do their permutations in their heads, won't they? And they will go for the lowest risk every time now, because it's tantalizingly close. And if Chang thinks this is the best way to do it, who are we to argue?
I'm not too sure about the shot he's just played. He's grinning, and has he left himself enough 5-ball here?
Big shot. And there's another one. This rack's not dead in the water yet. He's got some work to do.
Great hit on the 6. He had to capitalize on the miss from Pagulayan, and he has. The 2-ball has haunted both players in this match. Oh, what a great break. And the 2 isn't going to be haunting Chang here. Nicely controlled. He's got a shot at the 2. He's going to do his utmost to try and keep Pagulayan glued to his seat now for a while. Alex won 5 racks in a row to pull back to 11-11. But that's as close as he got.
Pool players are known for their fancy nicknames, Jim. Everyone's got them. Alex is the Lion, or the Killer Pixie, whatever you want to call him. This fella's nickname is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Shoe Leather.
Probably because he practices so much, he wears it out. Does he have any angle here? Does he have to just follow through with this to play the 4 to the other corner pocket? He's having a real good look. There's not much angle there to play with. Looks like in slotting this in, he might just get that cue ball headed towards that 7. He's got to miss it to get on the 4.
Right on cue.
This match has really been of a high standard, a real quality final, as you would have expected.
Just edged it past the 9. Yes, they've both had a couple of errors, or semi-errors, but it's not been one of those matches that's been riddled with blown opportunities, which is what you want to see in a final. There's been a bit of luck in it. Bad luck, Alex Pagulayan will tell you. But basically, these two fellas, when they've been at the table, have been making their shots. In fact, the feature really for me, I suppose, Jim, is that there's been so little safety play. They get on and they run them out.
Case in point. Another break and finish here for Chang.
centre pocket, and where's it going to go?
A reprieve. He's not going to string too many together. It looks like he's going to be pushing out here. Looks like a full snooker behind the 2 to the 1.
That 2 is going to hove into view right there. Now there was a little push, but not enough. As Jim said, the push out called almost immediately.
For those of you watching at home that may not be completely familiar with 9-ball, this is a shot that is perfectly legal following the break. So Chang will just push that cue ball into an area, and it'll be down to either Pagulayan to accept this shot or to put Chang back in. And kind of a neat little shot he's played there, Nick. He's put the 4 onto the 5 to kind of keep the table a little scrappy. Mind you, having said that, where the brown 7 is finished, that may not be attainable either.
Well, Alex seems to be wasting little time in accepting this push out. He's got a full ball to look at, and he's going to go for safety too.
Should be no problems escaping from this. Good shot from Alex, though. He's going to have to try and force a mistake from Chang, but off the 2 cushions, this shouldn't pose any problem escaping here. Just a matter of controlling the kick.
Oh, I thought he'd just pulled off a beauty there, and I'm not so sure that Alex can't get a piece of this, you know. There's the answer. That could slide in.
Yeah, what's worse, Nick, is it's freed the 4 from the 5 at the top of the table. So if Alex nails this, an outside chance that the door could be open to try and steal this rack.
He's nailed that, and he's got himself on for the blue. That's the question ball here is obviously that 7 that's in a very awkward place.
Absolutely. If that's tight against the cushion and not available to the side pocket, that is the problem ball. And believe me, that's what's concerning Alex right now.
Yeah, from our look at it, it looked pretty tight as well. The 4 and 5 should be okay, but just look to the left. Look at that brown 7. That's the one that's sending up the distress flare at the moment.
Nice angle on this 3. He's got to take the cue ball the opposite end of the table for the 4 now. This is far from straightforward. He's got a little more angle than he wanted on this 4. And now the big shot comes. We're going to know very shortly how attainable that brown 7 is. He may have to get right behind it.
He knows it, doesn't he? Just putting a bit of extra chalk on, that exhalation. It's not the pot, it's where is that cue ball going to end up?
Yeah, there's a couple problem areas here, Nick. If he's trying to draw this off of 3 cushions to get right behind that brown 7 up to the top left, the 9 comes into play, and this is all about speed.
A bit more chalk.
Well, now it looks like he's going to play top and just try and drop behind it off one cushion.
Here it goes. He's willing it on.
Pretty good shot. The only problem now is he's got to get it by that side knuckle. He doesn't want to hit that point.
Wow, made it look easy.
Believe me, it wasn't.
Important rack to win this for Alex. With racks running out, you got to keep it close. What a luxury to have 2 breaks that are working for you every time. Does this one come off as well? Don't think he's going to argue with that.
He's playing the drums. Tapping that chalk on the table. Getting that one ball to stop, leaving itself nicely towards the corner pocket.
Can you turn the phone off, please?
It's amazing to me how Alex can be changing breaks like this. Almost tempting fate, if you will. All his fans in Canada and in his homeland, the Philippines, all watching.
Yes, it's amazing how they readopted him after all the Filipinos got knocked out, isn't it? Suddenly Alex became their favourite guy again. But let's face it, he did spend many of his early years there.
You need to keep the posters still,
And
please.
he's a new father. Little baby girl, Nala, born to girlfriend Phoebe Choi back in Hawaii. That's where Alex makes his home now. A little closer to both sides, both North America and in Asia, where he's going to be playing a lot on the Asian tour, I believe, Nick, and you'll be seeing a lot of him. But he has really held himself together. Win or lose this final, all those memories that came flooding back from last year when Homan planted Alex into his seat, went away early, and Alex could never catch him. At least he's erased that from this year.
I think whatever happens as well, you know, whoever loses, he's not going to go away in disgrace, is he? This has been a terrific match, and all the pre-match experts, and there were many that said Chang was going to get blown away. Well, they've already had to eat their words a long time ago.
Oh, there was no way Chang was going to succumb here. He had gone through far too tough a road getting here to just bow out gracefully. That was never going to happen. But this is a treat that may well go down as one of the better finals in recent memory.
Cue ball got a kick upstairs that he didn't particularly want.
Well, the one caught the middle knuckle. Otherwise, the one would have been in close proximity to that cue ball. So that's taken Alex out of position. 2 balls down off the break. But it is definitely going to be safety here. And that's if he can see the one. If he can't, then look for a push. And that looks very close. Maybe
That's
too close.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
too close for comfort.
What Alex and Pei-Wei will have already observed is that this has effectively become a one-ball rack. You control a one ball with any kind of position on the 3 off it, you should clean up. Alex isn't the only one that's very nervous. I think there's a lot of nervous people in this auditorium. We really have reached the business end of this match. It's not enough just to play safe anymore. It's not enough to be lucky. Somebody has just got to grab hold of this thing and say, it's mine.
Well, Alex is looking into an area to push. These players never like playing negative shots, and the push shot is a negative shot because you're allowing your opposition out of his chair with a choice. How can that be a positive thing for you?
Push. Push out.
Yes, he's done it with some reluctance.
I can tell you another thing, though, Nick. This young man is a dynamite chess player. So if the game starts getting a little tactical, who's to say that the odds don't sway into Alex's favor slightly?
And the push is a bit of a chess move. That's not done an awful lot. He's probably given Chang a full look at the one, but the trick is you don't really, you want to dangle a bit of bait there so that your opponent will come up and have a good look at it and maybe go for it. But if he doesn't, that you've maybe got a shot that he doesn't see. That's the gamble. But all Alex really did in that situation was just open up that one. There's still no shot that you'd want to take on it unless he really fancies a long bank.
Well, Michaela's had a good look at it. It almost looks like you can try and clip the edge of that one, swing the cue ball back down behind one of the colors, but there is a danger he could leave this into the bottom right corner.
And if there's one area of his game you're not sure about, it's his safety play.
Well, Alex can see it. He can't pocket it, but he can get through to see it. And again, as I said, that was very close. Had Pei-Wei contacted that 4 ball, the pink 4 in the middle, he might well have left this on. But as it is, containment for now. Doesn't look like he can see enough to make this.
And he couldn't. Now, does he get away with it? Yeah, well, he played it, didn't he?
What a great shot from that distance, judging the speed that well. Oh, that's just a terrific effort from Alex there. He's not taking away the easy escape, though, and this is going to be a very controlled kick from Pei-Wei.
The last time he was in this position, if you remember, he pushed that ball up too close to the rail and it bounced right off and opened up the rest of the rack. This is an almost identical position from the one about 3 racks ago.
Now he knows he's going to be kicking to put some distance between these two.
Hello. Let's put the brakes on. Well, he's got his distance. He would have liked a bit more. That pink didn't help him.
Once again, though, Grand Canyon for Pagulayan between the colors. You really can't see him attacking from here either, but you might be able to play this to try and get that cue ball down towards the 5, the orange 5. Again, the danger, if you don't hide it, you could leave it.
Jim, with each shot, the stakes just get higher and higher, don't they?
Well, as we grind down to the 17th rack, the pressure will steadily build. The tension in the crowd, the tension in the back arms of these players.
This one has just got the feel of the rack that could determine an awful lot of questions. Nailed it.
Whoa, what a shot! Long distance, and Chang can hardly believe Pagulayan took that one on. A good shot on the 3 and draw back for the 5. And could Alex, for the second time in this match, see a lead? You just know the nerve endings are going to start tingling in both these players. As well prepared as they are, this is the World Championship. And as you said, Nick, the stakes don't get any higher.
It's been a long, long wait for Alex Pagulayan, but he's going to get his nose in front for the first time since the very first rack.
Safe to say you're going to hear a little applause after this 9. It's been a long time. Really can't see Alex breaking out from here. Chang is going to get a chance to voice his opinion in the outcome. Got a difficult shot at the 2. The 1 ball made off the break.
We actually saw it yesterday quite often, Jim, didn't we, in the quarters and the semis, that the closer you got to the winning post, the break seemed to just tighten right up, didn't they? And guys would find themselves with no shot or a difficult shot.
This is across the table twice for the 3 to the other corner. Has he gone far enough? He doesn't want to contact that 9. Another couple inches here would have been huge. Would have made his work a lot easier. He may still be able to play this with a lot of right-hand spin on the cue ball and just miss that 9.
He's pushed the 9.
Two options. Either the combination, the 4 onto the 8, or the billiard, the cue ball onto the 8. Or the thin cut on the 4. Great shot from Alex. Surprised me there, Nick. He's starting to fly.
Jimmy's making everything. Since he got that cut on the 1, and he really went for it in that last rack, he just seems to have got himself totally dialed in.
You know something? You don't back into World Championships. You go in the front door. And that long 1 allowed Alex to put his shoulder to that door. And for the first time in the final, this diminutive young Canadian star will be too clear.
What a time to do it with just 2 racks needed.
Perfect control, and look at the 2. That cue ball parked in the middle of the table. Just a dead hit. Players strive for that kind of break. Countless hours of practice perfecting it. Pagulayan got it when it was made to order.
9 nudged. This is not looking good if you're looking at it from his perspective.
Now it's about controlling your emotion. Every ball is magnified. And you can see the remaining 5 colors nicely in the open. Friend of mine and pretty handy cue maker back in the Philippines, Ronnie Powell. He'll be watching this. He's a big fan of Alex Pagulayan's. He'll be delighted to see Alex motoring on here. So many were looking forward to this year's event. Sign of confidence there. Running the cue ball around the angles. And the 8 looks to pass the bottom left. Alex is going to play it up into the side pocket. Nick, he's going to be on the hill.
From 10-4 down, 11-6 down. He's got himself one hand on that cup, that trophy that means so much to him and every other professional pool player. He's on the hill.
The chance has arrived.
Oh,
he's going to have a problem. The 6 and 7 on the right. But he's got to look in. 6 and 7 at the top end as we look. Glued together are the problem for Alex. They are what stand between him and a world championship in this rack.
Those 2 balls to the right of the table there are Chang's only hope of salvation. If he can break them up, and he's done it. What a shot
from Pagulayan. The next time Chang gets out of his chair, it could be to offer congratulations. Tremendous shot, free in the 6. And the path is paved.
"12 months ago, Jim, you were there. You know how much pain and despair he suffered when he lost a World Championship final."
He's trying to keep himself calm right now. He's trying to hold it all in. But he must be churning inside. If he gets on the 9, watch the celebration start. It's not easy. There'll be no celebration till this one disappears, but if it does, you're going to hear the roof come down.
This shot to be king of the world.
He has done it! The Lion has become Canada's second world title holder. Behind Cliff Thorburn, Alex Pagulayan has won the World Pool Championship. Thorburn, the World Snooker Championship, and now they will be toasting the Lion in the streets of Toronto. He is the king.
So after 9 days of fierce competition, we have our world champion. Alex Pagulayan, a 17-13 winner over Pei-Wei Chang. He'll be back in 12 months' time to defend his crown. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Taiwan World Pool Championship 2004.